my wonderful colleagues. Happy Workers' Day. How are we feeling? Are we feeling appreciated as workers? You guys do a very incredible job day in and day out. So I hope you're feeling very well appreciated.
Good morning, Auntie B.
Good morning. Good morning. It's always nice to drive on a holiday. Everybody's asleep.
It took you 5 minutes.
It's nice, oh. I came with a ride Helen Appiah. It was smooth. I was on my phone throughout. I didn't have to.
Feeling like a big man.
Charlie. I didn't have to look through the windows.
Charlie. It's good.
It's nice.
Charlie, but congratulations to all the Ghanaian workers. You make Ghana work. You give hope where hope is lacking. I mean, there are some workers, when you look at them, you listen to them, and in the course of our work, we meet a couple of them every now and then.
That's
you know
right.
that all is not lost on Ghana. You know that there's still hope for the country. We just need leadership that can focus, and then we will be able to make this country work.
Absolutely.
Beyond the rhetorics that we have heard and we have seen, if we have leadership that says no to corruption and shows it, demonstrates it in its work, we have leadership that says or identifies and rewards hard work, honesty, sincerity, and transparency, then we know that core, that negligible core that dedicates itself to ethical values in work, in whatever profession, be you a doctor, be you a nurse, be you a teacher, be you a lawyer, be you a farmer, be you an eater.
Hey.
And those who eat and sleep.
You see, today, the people I want to greet specially will be the MTTD guys. Helen, Sixtus, these people, they suffer. The people, the MTTD people.
How so?
Hey, you are in the car. The sun is scorching. You are angry because there's traffic.
Yeah.
It's not moving. They are under the sun. All they are wearing is cap.
That's true.
And they are wearing black, heavy boots.
Yeah.
Some black trousers, some white shirts. They are sweating, but Charlie, they still have to do their job.
And they actually make it look effortless. Sometimes I watch them and I think, are you not hot?
Charlie,
but they're just
for
carrying out the duty.
MTTD guys, today, I came today for you. They are super people.
There's a policewoman who is at the traffic light just at Afrikiko. And I think sometime last year, Nashoko had actually filmed her saying thank you, put it on the socials, and a lot of people recognized it. They said, oh, I know this lady.
She's slim, she's tall.
She's slim and tall, yes, and she's very efficient. Whenever she directs traffic, I feel like she does it very sternly because you can't mess around.
We have to find her
her
name and put it out.
Absolutely. She does a really wonderful job whenever she's on duty.
You can see the passion on the face of the person when the person is delivering, when the person is enjoying what he or she is doing.
Yeah.
But if you wake up and gradually you have to go to work, you are going to work, you are not happy because you are going to meet a certain boss that you don't want to meet.
Yeah.
Or there's a timeline, deadline that you have not met. You are angry with yourself because you know what is coming. Or as we like to say in this house, KPI, So when people enjoy their work, it is apparent on the face of the work, and the productivity is there for all to see. Frustrations may come, people may annoy you. Is it detract or distract?
You use whichever you want to use.
No, I haven't eaten.
You can't even say it in your own local language.
You can do sign language. Our Facebook people will see it.
But you see, I think the important thing is for you to enjoy what you do.
That's right.
My former boss, my very good friend, my trainer, and I give him credit for a lot of things, Bernard Avila, he used to tell us that the day that you wake up and you feel like coming to work is a punishment, my brother, just tender in your resignation.
Hey.
Because you have had it. Because it is. You see, when you feel like, why cry am I here? It means that there's nothing left for you to do.
But Sixtus, you said a moment ago that frustrations will come. Is that not the same as maybe waking up and feeling like that?
Is what you have said not the usual feeling?
The usual.
No, that is the problem. It's because we have normalized it.
Okay.
It shouldn't be the usual feeling.
But now it's
when you wake up, and I used to tell my team, I used to tell the Sunrise team every morning that if you come, the moment you open the door, and you see the mood in the room, and it is depressing, it is discouraging, it is like you're asking yourself, why am I even here?
Okay.
It means that you are useless to the team. You have nothing to add to the team. But the moment you open the door and you enter with some energy, some vim, you are eager to do the work. It doesn't matter what problem you had in your household. We all have problems in our houses. So, But you see, the moment you open, you are eager to contribute to the discussions. There's this issue. How do we resolve this? We need this for this production. The material is not there. Then you're asking yourself,
Helen is responding,
this person says it's not.
She's looking at you somewhere.
I thought this was the usual frustrations, but I mean,
frustrations should not be usual.
Okay, we take it as we call it the Monday blues. Monday rolls around, everybody's Monday's here again. Monday's here again.
The only interesting days to work,
Fridays.
Thursdays and Fridays.
Thursdays, to be honest, Thursdays and Fridays. I like
because you can see Saturday.
Yeah.
No, and I mean the people that I work with, they will tell you that I like good energy. I mean, you know that there are things that I hate. That somebody may annoy me, I'll speak my mind. But the moment I get into the atmosphere, I want to see that energy. That is what makes me enjoy the work I do. I mean, the work is already stressful. Now you want to add bad energy to it. You want to now come with your mouth longer than a canoe.
And I think it's also healthy to have disagreements and move on. A lot of people hold on to
they are there.
Because I feel the same way. Once I've said it and it's off my chest, honestly, in about 30 minutes, it is so irrelevant to me. We have to move on. But it's not always that in the workplace, others are able to park certain things. Somebody can hold on to something you said maybe 5 years. You don't even remember, but they keep that in their hearts. And Sixtus, I like that you mentioned that we interact with a lot of Ghanaians in different spheres of work, and we meet a lot of passionate individuals who really love the jobs that they do, from teachers to professors to those in the science field. So all hope is certainly not lost for Ghana.
The thing about teachers, you can be the older sibling, and you go to a particular school. There'll be this teacher who will teach you from maybe like class 1 to class 3. Your youngest sibling will also go to that same school. That same teacher will still be there. In fact, if you don't take a cry, your children will go to the school and the teacher will still be there.
Shout out to Mr. Dria, science teacher, Morning Star. Shout out to you.
Is he still there?
I haven't. The last time I heard, a few old students had gone maybe 6-7 years ago, and he was around. But I hope he's still, with us, because he'd been there for. I mean, his kids also came there, and I remember he used to tie his 2 daughters on the bicycle. Tie, because trying to make sure they don't fall off. We used to call them Valency 1 and Valency 2. Shout out to you, Mr. Dria. When science teachers make things so exciting and interesting, because it's one of those subjects that sometimes can be quite difficult for children, but you find teachers who will find a way to make even the most difficult subjects very easy to understand.
Charlie, even if you have like 3 boys in your house, you keep quiet, sit down.
It's not easy.
Put all the boys in one place that one teacher should
handle it.
Charlie, but teachers have a different level of motivation.
Yeah.
Charlie, if your endurance level is not over 100%, you can't be a teacher.
You cannot.
A salary and promotion wahala alone will make you run away. Teachers who have taught for years and years and years and years without their salaries. In fact, we receive calls here every day. There's one particular case that Mr. Amwa, I was following. Promotion wahala, salary increment wahala. They promoted a group of teachers. Then within the period that they had promoted them, I think for over a year, they had their increments had not reflected.
Okay.
The next thing they realized, they had demoted them.
Back to where you came from.
Back to where you came from. Can you imagine? And this happened like a year or two ago. You see, so Charlie, if you are not built and molded differently, if you are not called, it's a vocation. It's not a profession.
Particularly the teachers who are to the nursery schools, the primary schools. Charlie. Listen, let me say
on
that.
top of all of that, they have to deal with characters like Crosby.
The students came on excursion here. They were like primary school students. They entered the newsroom. If you were not there when they entered and you came later after they had left, you would know that children have come there.
Scatter.
No.
Don't pass here.
No, that's not it. You know, when you go to the classrooms, particularly because of how the children are active, how they play.
I'm with you.
Passing your nose, one.
I'm with you.
You'll be fine. And then
we just mentioned. There's this intern who used to be with us, Lois.
Yes.
She sent me a message at 4:51 a.m.
She's a teacher.
She said no.
Oh.
She says, "Hi, Six. Flooding your DM with vox pops and bites from yesterday's unpaid teachers picket."
Okay.
Unpaid, I'm sure that if we play these voices, the stories we will hear. But after all the lamentations, they will go back to the classroom.
They still do it, and they still teach wholeheartedly. It's a nice thing.
Teachers.
Yamin Shamu.
Aiko.
Teachers. No.
Yamin Shamu. Well, maybe this one, we'll talk about all the professions like that. And one thing too about teachers, maybe this one too is for the primary group of the student. Is it that when the children go to school every day, they teach them how to shout or what? When you have maybe like a 4-year-old, a 5, maybe 3, 6, 7-year-old goes to school, it comes, maybe the teacher teaches them a poem, something. They're coming to recite it. The kind of shout they will start that poem with. The teacher taught you a lion. Say a lion. Do they teach them how to shout in their classroom? Because
I don't get it.
You know, your voice has to be heard by the teacher. Helen's voice has to be heard. My voice has to be heard. So it's a shouting competition.
I saw it on Facebook. Somebody was asking, do these schools teach the children intentionally to shout when they come to say these poems? Because it's not.
On this note, you know the.
You have asked the child. Charlie, you have asked the child what is your
The poem is always Mama Africa.
It's a sign of confidence.
That's true, but Charlie, it's some way.
Charlie, Big Brother should look for that Kwampes rendition of the nursery rhymes. Big Brother, look for that thing for us. Kwampes rendition of.
I think the first time I heard that was during Gobe Fest.
That particular. That was your first time.
And I've listened to them play many times. Is that a regular?
Even cartoons and animations and all of those
because
things.
They have very popular ones, but that one I wasn't familiar with that. But it was a massive hit with everybody who attended the Gobe Fest.
It's not a small thing that the teachers
teachers. Not everybody can be a teacher.
No.
Not everybody. And you see, that's the other problem. And that's the other problem. The fact that you are bright, you are intelligent, you know the thing, doesn't mean that you should go and become a lecturer.
You can teach it.
Or a teacher. No, it doesn't. That is where frustrations begin to set in. And those people who know, they begin to take on consultancy services. And this one is the university people. One lecturer will not show up in class the whole semester because he's all going left, right, center, everywhere, all around, doing consultancy services. Because the motivation is somehow lacking. The depression is setting in. the family matters are making the person ask himself, am I working? So, indeed, not everybody can and should be a teacher. We need to celebrate our teachers, especially. Which other profession? If you were to your top 3 professions.
Oh, okay, top three. Those who dedicated their lives to research, so researchers, full-time researchers.
We have some done.
For sure. During the time of COVID, we were interacting with, I have to recall the name, Crosby. I don't know if you recall, that research body that was asking for some more money from the state so that they could also...
Were they at KNUST?
I'll try and recall, possibly.
There's a center at KNUST and then Noguchi. Those were the two at the front of.
Yes, I think that's such a good way to lend your brain, if you will. Really sitting down and crunching the figures and the data, because not all of us can do that. Pouring over data, lots and lots of data, so that everybody can be well informed about a particular topic. I equal to all our researchers. Ghana Met. Shout out to Felicity.
Researchers. When I went to do my masters, and they said I have to bring a topic for dissertation. I said, I thought there was the option for me to write the exam and go away. I don't want to do this. I said, hey, where do you think you are?
I've never written a dissertation in my life, but it sounds like hell on earth.
Charlie, I don't want to see that.
It sounds
I think it's one of the reasons I'm not excited about a PhD.
I'm telling you.
It's one of the reasons.
It seems so daunting.
Does it? It depends on who your supervisors are.
Have you written a dissertation before? How was it?
It was not as I perceived it would be.
Where did you go into it thinking it was going to be quite difficult?
Yes, that's what I thought. But it was well, anyways.
No, but I had good supervisors,
okay.
Who
I remember my supervisor
at both levels.
Vivian Taki. She was a good woman.
At both levels, at undergrad level and master's level, I had supervisors who, for some funny reason, took interest in my topics. Professor Matikole at the psychology department, University of Ghana. I don't know whether he's still there, but I want to believe, because he's one of the people really passionate about teaching. Uni level, he's a teacher, he's not a lecturer. I was doing something on witchcraft and social perceptions and impact. That was the time all this talk about Gambaga witch camps and all the other witch camps, and so I decided to do something on that. And he took so much interest in the topic, it became so scary and so difficult for me.
Because the pressure was on.
The pressure was on. Because, he said it was something that could be developed. Because at the time that there was all the talk about the witch camps and all of those things, there was really no data on it. And, I think that the technical term is literature. The literature on it was scanty. And so he said it was something that we could develop further. And I was just looking to get out of there.
He's looking at the future.
Yeah. At the master's level, also, I did, in fact, this one, when I presented my topic, my supervisor said, Charlie, this one, you are behaving like you are doing media management. This one, you are a communication student. Let's change the topic. And with his help, I got another exciting topic, and that was in puppetry.
Puppetry?
Puppetry, puppeteering.
Okay, actual puppeteering.
Yes, actual.
Oh, I see.
In communication.
Okay.
yes. And another exciting.
New.
That's also new.
That's very
So
niche.
he also said, no, this is something that. In fact, he is still chasing me to come and we'll develop the thing.
You and I, we said new. Did you hear what Helen said?
He said what?
I was wondering, is it niche?
Yeah.
So you see the researchers and the English speakers.
I want to also add career posters to my list. The likes of Musa Dankwa, Global Info Analytics. Look at how...
Oh, you didn't mention Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben.
Ben Efton as well.
Yes.
Ben
He's
Efton
done
as
some
well.
very good work for Ghanaian politics.
I'll add him to the list as well, and the many others who involve themselves in conducting polls. If you listen to Musa Dankwa, for example, they're speaking with thousands and thousands of Ghanaians on very sensitive but important issues, gauging the temperature and the mood of the nation. And we always get some good intel after the polls are done. Last year, it was the center of a lot of controversy, but it's good to see that the interest is still there, despite all the bashing, to go out and collect this data. Because it's so funny when it comes to certain types of data that he collects. It's always quite polarizing. People believe or they don't believe it, when really, as he says, it's just there's a science to it. There's numbers, probabilities, error of margin, but people think there's something more to it than just gathering information and gathering intel. So for those who make it who made it their life's job to gather data, I think that's
it's not a small thing.
It's not a small thing at all.
Another group of people I want to talk about this morning, the workers who wear uniforms all the time.
Okay.
So police officers, military officers, Navy, the people in the security services, their own Monday to Friday uniform. It's not an easy thing to do.
Oh. Actually,
you like
that would make life simple. You know exactly what you're going to wear. No wahala. You know how difficult it is for some of us to get dressed in the morning. Oh my goodness, this color doesn't match. Then you have to do this. Should I combine this? Friday African wear, Thursday Jamaican wear, Saturday this, today is this.
For them, it's top and down.
Top and down. Pick it up and go. Or you think what? It would be boring to wear uniform every day.
Yeah.
Sixtus, what say you? If we had a uniform, would you? Maybe we had a 3FM shirt. Something like that.
Unfortunately for me, all my life, education-wise, it's always been a formatted, uniformed.
Okay.
That's the kind of education I have had. So I think I'm used to it.
Okay.
Yeah, from minor seminary through even the normal regular education to minor seminary, and it's always been. You have to be dressed in a particular way. You have to walk a particular way. You have to talk a particular way, behave a particular way. So, I think it's normal for me. But it takes a lot of stamina, Charlie.
Yeah.
But you know it saves money too.
Yes, it does. It does.
You don't have to buy plenty things.
It has its own advantages and disadvantages. Charlie, the YEA Zoom Lion cleaners too. Super people. You know, we all know the challenges they are confronted with.
In fact, they should have been top of the list.
Yeah, on a daily basis. And almost, I think it's a good thing that they do, at least for this one. You almost all the time see them in PPE.
No, some actually don't have. It's a conversation we must have.
Some do. Well,
some of them.
Almost all the ones
the people on the Medina stretch, the Zongo Junction, those people who clean there. There are a number of times I've seen them, you know, and if you know how filthy Zongo Junction is, you know, there are a number of times I have seen them literally gathering or loading the trucks with their bare hands. I mean, unprotected. You can see that some are not wearing nose mask. They are just, Charlie, no. It's
a tough thing to do.
It is not. No. So it's not just about how much they are paid. It's also about how much protection they get in the course of their work. I think it's a big conversation that we must have, that they must each receive at least the barest minimum, their work attire, their what the tools they need, and that would include.
To call it working gear.
Working gear.
Helen was making his list. Well, she made her list. What's your list? Top 3 professions.
For me, I'm the son of a teacher. True son of a teacher. So teaching will be number 1.
Number 2 is what?
Number 2. Well, number 2 would be. Well, maybe because of my love for the law. Number 2 would be lawyer.
And number 3 would be?
Number 3, no, I'll put farm before law. Yeah, so teacher, farmer, lawyer.
If my list would be teacher, a doctor, and a police officer. The people in the security services. No.
When you were growing up, how many times did you change your mind as to what you wanted to be?
Did I? Did I even have one that I want? All the time.
Are you doing what you wanted to do? Helen, wait. You will take 10 minutes to answer yours. Crosby, are you doing what you wanted to do?
Crosby wants to be the vice president, so I think he's right on track. Right on track.
This question. Don't worry. Auntie Amma Lawson is not listening. Feel free. Feel free. Are you where you wanted to be?
At this time?
No.
When I was a human being, when I was a president.
What they have been teaching us.
So, are you doing what you set out to do when you were growing up?
I've always wanted to be.
Are you sure?
Yes.
When you were 6 years old, you wanted to become a journalist?
Not 6 years old. At 6, I'm not sure I knew what or who a journalist was. So there was this auntie of mine who was working with the GBC, and I think 6 is too early. But let's say 10 upwards. When I took interest in the news and current affairs, I was always listening to the news. There was this auntie, I think she also drew my attention to journalism, working with GBC, and would always come back home, so much inspiration. You watch the news and her name is there. Her name is Claire Banoy Yakubu, wife of former Dean of Students, University of Ghana, Professor Bruce is now a chief. Former Chief Director, Lands and Natural Resources Ministry. So, yes, I think I've always, and I in school, anytime there was something having to do with interviewing people, these things that we used to do in school, writing, debating, I was in all of those things. And I was part of the team that started my school's weekly newsletter. That was at St. Francis Xavier Minor Seminary. We called it the Xavier Express. So I've always wanted. The only thing is, I didn't set out to make a living out of it. I always wanted to be a lawyer. Then I'll be in the media space. I'll come just as some passion that I'm fulfilling.
So now it's still the passion you are fulfilling.
Now I'm meeting struggling to meet KPIs.
But a lot of people pick the journalism or develop the journalism interest from GBC. So talking about it, I remember Ebenezer Mpabing. I would watch him every evening. A friend to you'll be.
No wonder you read like that.
I have to go and do my Googles.
I remember all of them. Ebenezer Mpabing.
You know Napoleon.
Barbara Gazy.
No, Napoleon.
Ashito.
The man was at GBC for 90 years of his undead life.
And then, so when you watch these people, and maybe after work, maybe after a week, a month, my mother brings reports from work. I start reading them when we are by the table. I'll be making mistakes. They'll be laughing at me. At that time, I remember the Speaker of Parliament. Ebenezer Hughes, and there was a word, schedules. Instead of me to say schedules, my mind is Hughes. My siblings still laugh at me. They use Hughes and schedules to laugh at me.
To laugh at you.
So that's, I remember one day, for example, he was doing, the bulletin had not started, they did him Sanya.
What?
Oh.
You don't know Sanya?
Sanya.
Ask Sisters will tell you.
What one is Sanya?
I don't know.
Mr. Mpabing, the bulletin had not started. Mr. Mpabing was doing makeup, the makeup. And then they put their makeup on it. It was funny.
I think when you're fighting with the cameraman.
No, the director. So that's where maybe it all started from. Ebenezer Mpabing, Franz Gashito Dunton, Barbara Gazy, Napoleon Atukito. There was this.
Barbara Gazy used to start and end the bulletins with some quotes. Is it Barbara or Akushika?
Akushika Akwetu was there.
Yes, and I love that about her, because there was always something inspiring she would say before she signed out, and it was always, something that made you think.
Right.
Like, yeah. So I've always really enjoyed the media. I've always enjoyed the media.
I see you.
It's just that Helen has come to join.
Helen, while we take it slow this morning because it's a holiday, we celebrate workers and all of that, the news is not sleeping. Yes, yeah, not at all. Yesterday, the Attorney General, so he addressed a press conference.
That's right.
And then there have been some reactions after the press conference, from even reactions before the press conference. The accusations that A+ leveled against the Attorney General.
That's right.
A+ says.
Can we just read it in again and remind ourselves?
Okay, so it's been interesting. So the A+ made a few allegations. Let me tell you this. So the Attorney General yesterday, so he strongly dismissed corruption allegations leveled against him by the Member of Parliament for Gomoa Central. And this story is on 3news.com. So you can log on to 3news.com to have a read for yourself. For Gomoa Central, Kwame Asari, being popularly known as A+. Addressing the media on Wednesday, April 30, Dr. Ayine said he is not afraid to, quote, walk in the mud with the outspoken MP if that is what it takes to clear his name. The Attorney General's comment, it comes in response to a Facebook post by A+, who accused him of manipulating the drafting and passage of the sanitation and pollution levy in 2021 for personal interest while in opposition. A+ claimed Dr. Ayine restructured the leadership of the parliamentary committee involved, allegedly to favor a close associate, and warned of exposing further corruption if provoked. But Dr. Ayine refuted the claims as palpable falsehoods, asserting that he was never involved in the legislative process behind the levy. He challenged A+ to stop hiding behind social media and present any evidence of wrongdoing at a press conference or to the police. Dr. Ayine then threw down the gauntlet. Let him be warned. In my hometown, we don't fear mud being thrown. We walk into the mud to deal with the person doing the mud slinging. I'm ready to walk into the mud with A+. He also urged the media to question A+ about his alleged role in the national service ghost name scandal, which he hinted may be the real reason behind the MP's recent outburst. The national service ghost name scandal.
But how is A+ involved?
So that is what Ayine says. We should find out from A+ what role he played in the ghost name scandal.
I think we have the voice. We have the AG's voice.
Or maybe we can even play the longer version. He addressed a number of items yesterday, some burning questions that we've all had, and some journalists also threw out some other issues not related strictly to the arrests and charges that are being made talking about asset declaration. There was that question put to him, as well as whether or not he's been waiting for a change or removal of the CJ to act on the cases that we've been told about in recent times. And he was also asked some questions about GBA and his response to what the GBA had to say as well. So he covered a few grounds with that press conference.
Let's listen to what he said concerning the A+ conversation first, and then we'll get to the response of A+. And I don't know whether you've seen the response of A+. It's on the social media. The language he used. But first, this is the Attorney General responding to the accusations leveled against him by the Member of Parliament for Gomoa Central, Kwame Asari, being also known as A+.
That is why it came to me as a big surprise when the Honourable Member for Gomoa Central, the Honourable Kwame Asari, aka A+, took to social media to make spurious allegations against me, calling me corrupt and a thief. Besides the name calling, the Facebook post in its totality was a palpable falsehood. I was never involved in the passage of the sanitation levy, as I was not a member of the Finance Committee of Parliament, let alone to be in a position to influence the composition of the membership of the committee.
Voice of the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayene, in relation to what Kwame Asare-Obeng, also known as A+, has said. And Helen, if you would bear with me, let's go to the Facebook page of A+, okay, and then read what his reaction to the response has been. This is what he said. No, that's not true. What I said was because, according to my information, you went to beg for 500,000 cedis that you are going to use it to bribe the Appointments Committee of Parliament. And for your information, you are not the only one. And then he continues with some very unsavory words to say on the radio. I don't know what your reaction to this is, Helen. What the comments by A+ and the language he used?
We're all watching it unfold. Unsavory. You didn't read out the last.
No, I couldn't have.
Or the last sentence in that release, because we're getting into a territory of insults. But the Attorney General has come out to say his side. He says that the accusations as leveled against him by A+ are untrue. A+ is also alleging something else. I don't know if this is one that will be settled in court. I don't know if this will be settled in the court of public opinion, but it is, or we hope not. We certainly hope this is not one that will be settled on the streets. But very, very bizarre. I'm trying to actually understand what is going on, what exactly A+ is saying with this follow-up communique on his Facebook page. But it's not a good look also for the AG to be involved in this tete-a-tete with the Member of Parliament. Maybe the optics look terrible.
You remember my position when we started discussing our good Reverend in Tim Fojo and his press conferences. See, if you have evidence that somebody has done something untoward, you know where to go to. This thing that you see, it's becoming. It's not necessary, and it is very, very. It takes people off the work. Well, me as a media person, I like. It gives me the juice.
Yeah.
But is that productive? If you have evidence that the person committed some in the course of his work as a member of Parliament, he did something untoward, you know where to take that allegation to. The man will be investigated. And the language is so not bad. Not. I mean,
for a member
should be told that he is now a member of Parliament.
Well, there are concerns that the Privileges Committee of Parliament should look for him and then have a conversation with him.
It is not right. You are no longer a regular social media person. And I made the same point again when I was talking about the good Reverend in Tim Fojo. You are no longer some radio commentator or a TV panelist or pundit or musician. No, you are a member of Parliament. That title should carry some weight.
You represent
it should
a group
mean
of
that,
people.
yes, you represent an entire constituency. It should mean something. When you speak, there should be some weight put to whatever you say. You don't go on social media insulting people like this. No. What are you teaching the young people who are looking up to you?
A lot of people on social media are actually echoing this sentiment.
Yeah.
So this comment here says, a direct insult to the face of the state attorney. This is unprofessional. He says, legal matters or corruption accusations must be backed by evidence. Let's stop this. Another one says, A+'s behavior is completely unacceptable. He's a member of Parliament.
He's out of order.
Regardless of any issues between them, referring to a country's attorneys general as a, I don't even want to repeat the word, is entirely inappropriate. An apology must be issued.
So you see, now he's taking people's attention away from the substance of the allegation he raised.
Everybody's talking about the insults.
So even if there's any merit to the allegations he leveled, now nobody is talking about it. Everybody is now focused on the language. And what did the AG say? You have accused the man of something. He has come in a press conference to deny the allegation. And your next response is an insult. I mean, how?
And Sixtus, more of the comments says this member of Parliament must be sanctioned this is disgusting behavior. A lot of you actually using unsavory language on the member of parliament, but the consensus, I believe, Sixtus, is that this is absolutely unacceptable language.
It is not. And I mean, the people who are close to A+ should let him know that now he occupies an office, and it shouldn't be social media commentary as usual. When he spoke about the Ahmed Swale matter, how did it end? When he said he gave, was it the IGP or the police service a week or so to do something? How did it end? You do that, you lose credibility. You see, you can't just come on social media or organize press conference, say things, then everybody jumps on it. Within the by the turn of the news cycle, it's died down. We all go back to life as if nothing has happened. Meanwhile, you have dented somebody's reputation. And people don't joke with their reputations because it takes a lot to build reputation. So if you have evidence that the Learned Attorney General did something wrong, you know where to go to. He is a public office holder.
But was that an invitation to the Member of Parliament, Kwame Asare-Obeng A+, when the Attorney General says that where I'm from, we don't fear the mud, I'm prepared to walk into the mud with A+? Was
it also an appropriate response?
You see, and that's what he said, that now A+ has, said those unsavory words directed at the AG. He says, I'm prepared to walk in the mud with you. Maybe that should have
when you started, I said you should go back to the original post. I asked you to read the original post, what A+ said, the allegation that was leveled. That is what would measure this response. Was the AG also killing a mosquito with a sledgehammer in his response? That original post, what was the tone of the language? You see, and my point is simple. There's a member of parliament. There's another member of parliament. That other member of parliament says that this member of parliament has done 1, 2, 3 untoward things. Now, if it is corruption related, you know where to go to. If it is not corruption related, you know where to go to. As a public office holder, you know how to deal with the Learned Attorney General. And if indeed the allegations against the Learned Attorney General are true, he can lose his office beyond the reputational damage. You get it? He can easily lose his office. So you don't come making certain allegations against a public office holder just like that.
Right.
You should be able, willing and ready to bring
your evidence
and make a conversation and support that allegation with your evidence so that the relevant authorities can take it up. And those of us who are also following for the Jews, we will get it.
You asked for the original comment, and then so let me read to you what is quite lengthy, but it is also on the Facebook page of.
Helen says long. The word is long. It's not lengthy.
When she was choking on it yesterday, on the passage yesterday. So let's also remember how this whole arrangement was orchestrated. I'm talking about the sanitation levy thing. A+ says the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, while in opposition, went to great lengths to manipulate the drafting of the law. He schemed to reconstitute the leadership of the committee responsible just so he could gain control and structure the law in a way that would benefit his close associates. And then he adds, if Dr. Ayine attempts anything I will expose him further. I'm only setting the stage for a fight. It's a trap, and trust me, you'll lose. I'll show you where you got money for the last one. Is that clue enough? Let's continue. So that was what A+ said. That elicited the reaction from the Attorney General.
And the Attorney General said, the excerpt I read somewhere said, he was actually referring to campaign funding. He said he took money from somebody to fund his campaign, right?
That's what the Attorney General said.
Yes. So, I mean, I'm saying that you have allegations, serious ones at that. Even campaign funding. There are laws regulating campaign funding and financing. So, if you have evidence that something untoward happened, you know where to go to. It's a very simple, straightforward. And I repeat, he is no longer a social commentator.
True.
He is no longer a pundit. He's not sitting on some radio station or TV station or on social media. Now you have the floor of the House. You have access to the Privileges Committee. You have access to, well, maybe you can't go to the AG because the person you are accusing is the AG. But there are other entities that you can go to. And whatever the nature of the allegations, they definitely will fit into or fall under the mandate of one of those plenty state agencies that we have, that some of them are not doing anything. So what is stopping you? Is it social media you will go to?
Some of them are not doing anything.
I beg you. I didn't ask you to record.
Well, this was talking about reputations there. On the comment section of what A+ posted, I'm reading something from Oliver Baka-Vomao. And this is what he says. Appointments committee, Bium, we listen, we don't judge. You know his comment about the appointment committee that he was invited to, that he had to apologize. A+ is also mentioning...
Did he apologize?
Well...
I'm one of those who believe that Vomao really never apologized.
A+ is also mentioning the appointments committee in this allegation. Let me take you beyond the appointment committee and talk about a group also in Parliament, the majority in Parliament during the last administration. The wealthy businessman who attempted to bribe MPs, kind of that kind of thing.
789, the Helen Appiah-Ampofo.
Yes, the Helen Appiah-Ampofo group. The one Helen Appiah-Ampofo has refused to share with us who this wealthy businessman is. The name of Parliament, it is coming up one too many in such allegations. Is it not something we should be worried about?
We definitely should. And in our regular conversations, when we are chit-chatting as watchers of the political space, of the air, there are things we say about Parliament that we simply cannot say on air because, one, we don't have the evidence, or two, they are mere perceptions. Even if they are mere perceptions, you see, perception plays a crucial role in politics. And every political communicator will tell you that perception is indeed reality in politics. Because that perception that you don't want to tackle or deal with, it is what is forming people's opinion, their reaction and action towards you, and their eventual decision on you or about you. So perception is everything. Perception is reality in politics. So even if these are perceptions, Parliament has to deal with them. And the way Parliament can deal with this is by ensuring that allegations that come up are not treated with that bullying posture. Or if you, I'll drag you before Privileges Committee. Everything we are threatening with Privileges Committee. So people are not able to freely speak to the issues. But the people who are also speaking to the issues, do they have the evidence? We can't all go about saying that the Appointment Committee of Parliament or the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, they receive bribe, they collect bribe, they meet people behind closed doors and collect money before they have the public meetings. We can't all go about saying those things. There has to be a certain footing. There has to be something backing those allegations. You see, and that is where Parliament comes in. That if A+ says that or raises allegations against Appointments Committee, or Baka-Vomao raises allegations against Appointments Committee, Parliament should investigate through the Privileges Committee, investigate and deal with the matter. But of course, as every other human institution, it always comes out or turns out to be we versus them. We, Parliament, versus them who are accusing us. So the perception will continue to be there. But indeed, that perception has to be dealt with. It has to be dealt with.
What the Attorney General also said about his involvement in the National Service ghost name scandal should also be looked at.
Yes.
But unfortunately, that has been relegated and we're talking about...
No, but the Attorney General has also done the same thing I was just talking about. You are the AG.
And if you think
if you have evidence that the person has done something, initiate an action against him. What's stopping you?
Why are you coming to say we should ask him about his role?
So you organize press conference to ask the media to ask the man what he did.
When you are the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana.
So what should the media do?
Go ask. Comments from our social media platforms, and this one is from Gideon Giddo, and I think he agrees with you, Sixtus. He says, so why the Attorney General not sue him in court to end this disgrace to a whole Attorney General? There's also, I'm now more interested in what the AG has on him regarding the NSS scandal. Dr. Yeni is the wrong person to pick a fight with. Clement Lalo is the one saying this. Martin Kwabla is, asking, so A+ chop the NSS money, Sam. We don't know that. Okay. This one is from Clement. He says, evidence is the name of the game. It's like these guys didn't learn anything from Okujoto Ablakwa. When he's coming, he brings his facts and supporting evidence. He says if A+ had evidence, he should have gone to the special prosecutor. Okay. AG says he should come and answer what he knows about it. I'm guessing he has been caught pants down. These are some of the comments in relation to the conversations we're having. But let's take a listen to what the Attorney General said on these topics. So he spoke about what is concerning A+, and then he also spoke about Charles Edubuahin, and then Charles Edubuahin in relation to the NSS ghost names, as well as some other topics, the work of Operation Recover All Loot, and then the SkyTrain scandal. So we're putting all of these voices together. Join us also on our social media platforms at 3FM 92.7 and take a listen to what the Attorney General said yesterday in relation to all of these topics and more.
Took to social media to make spurious allegations against me, calling me corrupt and a thief. Besides the name calling, the Facebook post in its totality was a palpable falsehood. I was never involved in the passage of the sanitation levy, as I was not a member of the Finance Committee of Parliament, let alone to be in a position to influence the composition of the membership of the committee. And I have the Hansard as documentary support for what I'm saying. I have the votes and proceedings of Parliament. Unfortunately, I left them in the office. I think I have them here. Yes. So for the media, the report of the committee as well as the vote and proceedings are here. If you want to do some research on the matter that he alleged that I was involved and I channeled, I made sure that the membership of the committee was, changed, and then the monies from the sanitation levy were channeled to my friend, and so on and so forth. I'm not friends with whoever was the beneficiary of the sanitation levy. But interestingly, A+ warned me in the post not to do anything silly and that he will come after me if I did. That is laughable. First of all, I do not act silly because I think through the consequences of my actions, not only for my person, but also for others. That is what we were taught in Notre Dame Minor Seminary, and I am proud to say, without fear of any contradiction, that I have kept faith with that principle. Secondly, the threat is laughable because I have nothing to hide. I am reliably informed that his basis of saying that I am corrupt and a thief is that I took campaign contribution from a businessman at East Legon known as Dr. Sledge, and that he also knows the people who donated pickups for my campaign. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if receiving donations for your campaign or getting a pickup for a campaign is thievery or corruption, then there are 276 thieves in Parliament, including the person who was making the allegation himself. So, ladies and gentlemen, if A Plus has any evidence of corruption or thievery against me, I am challenging him today to call a press conference and present the evidence or present it to the police to investigate me. In contrast, the media should ask him about the silly thing that I was about to do, which frightened him so much into making that silly post about me. He should be asked what he knows about the National Service ghost name scandal and related matters. If he can give truthful answers to these questions, then Ghanaians will know why he took to social media to do what he did. But let him be warned that in my hometown of Zorongo, we do not fear mud being thrown at us. On the contrary, we walk into the mud to deal with the person doing the mud slinging. And I am prepared to walk into the mud with A+. Because what I have about him and the National Service scandal, he should come and tell you. I'm challenging him. He should come and tell you, the media, and stop cowardly hiding behind social media to make baseless allegations against people who have worked hard to earn a reputation. The investigation in the National Service ghost names scandal has also progressed well, and we will be filing charges against some of the persons involved from the first week of May, also, in a few days' time. Other matters such as National Cathedral, mathematical sets, senior high school Wi-Fi are also nearing completion, and dockets are being prepared for prosecutions to begin. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, my fellow countrymen and women, as your Attorney General, I wish to assure you that I have sufficient reserves of integrity to continue to perform the task assigned me by His Excellency, the President of the Republic. I have never stolen before in my life and have never received a bribe in public office. All those who have dealt with me know this for a fact, and the President would not have appointed me his Attorney General if he had questions about my personal integrity. That is why it came to me as a big surprise when the Honorable Member for Gomor Central, the Honorable Kwame Asare-Obeng, aka A+, took to social media to make spurious allegations against me. Oral is not just about accountability. Oral is also about recovery. And so, if from all indications, someone who has been, charged with a criminal offense or in the course of investigation comes forward to say that they are willing and able to return the loot in exchange for a plea deal, which will mean, for instance, that either we let them walk away without, getting punished, either through a fine or a term of imprisonment, or instead of getting, let's say, 10 years in jail, we can cut it to 5 years in jail or 2 years in jail in exchange for a recovery of what they have looted. I am happy to do that. Very happy to do that, because that is the essence of oral, and that is what Ghanaians want. They do not want people to go to Nsawam and come back out of jail to enjoy the loot. In respect of the SkyTrain matter, we have completed investigations and will be filing charges hopefully next week. We have established that $2 million United States of American dollars was paid by the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund without board approval. The only persons who knew and acted on the payment were the former CEO, Mr. Solomon Asamoah, and the former board chairman, Professor Ameyaw Ekunfi. Both will be charged next week. The docket is ready. We know the charges we are filing against them, so they will be charged next week. Some of the board members have offered to testify as witnesses for the prosecution, and I am considering their office. And usually what I do is that when you offer to testify, I sign an agreement with you. and I immunize you from prosecution either today or in the future. So that is what I'm doing with those who are making office. So if you are a whistleblower, you know of any crime that has taken place, please come. Even if you are marginally involved, I'm prepared to cut a deal, and then we can deal with the actual criminals. I have today filed charges against Mr. Edubohin, his wife Angela Appiah-Ampofo, one Mildred Dong-Ullo, a former employee of UMB Bank, who resigned just in time to join in the criminal enterprise, and a company called Advantage Solutions Limited, a holding company owned by Mr. Edubohin and his wife, which received a substantial portion of the funds and was used as a conduit for funneling the funds into other companies owned by them. These other companies are Vertex Properties Limited, Vertex Solutions, and of course the famous BMC Communications Bureau Limited, which was, if you remember, that was a vehicle that was used to steal the 49,100,000 Ghana cedis from the national security accounts. Based on the evidence on the docket, we have charged Mr. Edubohin with stealing, 3 counts of stealing, 1 count of defrauding by false pretenses, another count of willfully causing financial loss to the state, another count of using public office for profit and money laundering. His wife, Angela Appiah-Ampofo, has been charged with conspiracy to steal, collaboration to commit the crime of using public office for private benefit or profit, conspiracy to commit money laundering and money laundering. In the case of Mildred Dong-Ullo, we have charged her with 2 counts of conspiracy to commit money laundering and money laundering. The same goes for the company known as Advantage Solutions. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, my fellow countrymen and women, I am keenly aware of the criticisms that were leveled against me after my March 2025 press conference. In particular, some of our compatriots accused me of judging Mr. Edubohin and his dear wife prior to filing charges, and others opined that what I said of them should have been left to the courts to decide. I respectfully disagree for a number of reasons. The first is that I said nothing at that press conference that suggested even remotely that their guilt had been predetermined. Far from that. As the Attorney General of this Republic, I am the first to acknowledge that no matter how watertight the evidence of a prosecutor is, the accused is still entitled to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. That is a principle enshrined in Article 19 of our Constitution. And I cannot go against that cardinal principle. The second reason why I disagree with those of my fellow countrymen and women who think that the matters are dealt with at these press conferences should be left to the courts is that the constitutions require that we act, at least in public office, with probity and accountability. I see these press briefings, including the one I'm having today, as a way of breathing life into those cardinal values of our Constitution. Lastly, I think that there is absolutely nothing wrong with a prosecutor exhibiting confidence in his case. With particular reference to the case under review, the diligent investigations by the Economic and Organized Crimes Office led by Mr. Raymond Archer gives me a high level of hope and confidence that, all things being equal, I will obtain convictions on most, if not all, of the charges that I have preferred today. Besides the documentary evidence involving bank statements, deposit slips, check numbers, and so on and so forth, we have persons with deep knowledge of the matter who have agreed to testify at the trial. persons with very deep knowledge, primary persons who were close to the action, have agreed, after having been, interrogated, about what they know, they have agreed to testify in this matter. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, my fellow countrymen and women, between March 2025, when I announced the arrest and detention of Mr. Edugwahin and his accomplices, and now, there has been some speculation as to whether my press conference was yet another piece of political propaganda. This criminal enterprise involved the purported provision of secured internet services to Ghana Water Company Limited by the erstwhile Bureau of National Communications, now National Signals Bureau. The contract documents showed that Ghana Water was to pay BNC, that is the national BNC, the sum of 650,000 Ghana cedis every 2 weeks for secured internet services from BNC, that is the Bureau of National Communications. However, for purposes of the payment, Kwabena Edugwahin provided the account details of his company, BNC Communications Bureau Limited, to Ghana Water, which religiously paid for the internet services. In other words, every 2 weeks when 650,000 Ghana cedis of money from Ghana Water left the bank accounts of Ghana Water, instead of going to the National Signals Bureau account, it went to the account of a company known as Bureau of National Communications, owned by Kwabena Edugwahin and his wife. Okay? And then they did what they wanted to do with the money. We have made a decision to charge Mr. Kwabena Edugwahin and other accomplices in the Ghana Water scandal separately. Okay, so in a few weeks, we'll be filing separate charges against him. And the amount of money in the Ghana Water scandal is in excess of 62 million Ghana cedis. 62 million Ghana cedis. That Ghana Water, that sometimes does not have money to pay for chemicals to purify your water, had to part with, purportedly for the provision of secure internet services by a government agency. That is what happened. And so, because the contract documents stipulated that the payments be made to Bureau of National Communications, Ghana Water then demanded that the check payments be made to National Signals Bureau because of the change in the corporate identity of BNC. What then happened was that any time the check was made out to National Signals Bureau and it landed in the accounts of National Signals Bureau, Kwabena Edugwahin, as Director of National Signals Bureau, would then immediately write a check to himself and transfer the money. From our investigations, you can see the movement of the money. Immediately it comes from Ghana Water, he signs a check and transfers the money into the, his personal company account. Now, today something happened in court. Counsel for the defense told the judge that whatever I had said was a figment of my own imagination. But of course, he is entitled to earn his fee. So he can say that. I have been briefed constantly and regularly. I've seen the evidence. And anybody who knows me knows that if I haven't seen the evidence, I won't be in front of you today. I've seen the evidence. The reason why some people have opted to testify is because they know that the case is watertight. So, counsel can continue to say what he's saying, but when we present the evidence in court, he will know that this is far from being imaginative. I have a very fertile imagination, but not in this case.
That's the Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayeni, for a moment, I nearly said, Godfrey, what I mean. So there's a lot on the plate of the Attorney General, Mr. Hughes. You've listened to him, particularly his comments concerning allegations against him by the Member of Parliament for Gomoa Central A+. He spoke about the SkyTrain scandal, allegations against the Ghana Water Company, Charles Dubois, amongst others. He has a lot on his plate.
Yes, he does. Ghanaians are not looking for talk; they are looking for action. We want to see a lot more action as a people.
Right.
Yes, A+ has alleged. So he must come and prove. Can he prove? Or if he doesn't, he fails to prove, will the AG take him on? It's a question that must, because his integrity has come under direct fire.
True.
That's one. Two, as I mentioned earlier, we are looking for action. And I like his posture on, not just arresting people and throwing them into jail, but also getting back some of the things that, the people may have looted.
Yeah.
Because, people on the street suggest that, he has stolen maybe 3 billion. You put him in there for 5 years. After 5 years, the 3 billion is all his, and he can bounce back.
It's still 3 billion.
Even when he is behind bars, because he has 3 billion somewhere, and somebody knows that there's a surety that he has some 3 billion somewhere. They may be doing him some favors while he's in cell.
The 3 billion can still be working for him.
Exactly. In fact, if he decide to choose just half of it to do a lot of things, he can be given some VIP treatment and all of that. So we ought to be very, very careful. The object, as they themselves said during the campaign trail, was to rake in back what we have lost, and it's not just money.
Recover.
Yeah, properties and landed property and all of that. We're looking forward to it, because I don't, for the life of me, think that we are so broke as a country that some very basic things that can be done with our own resources, then we end up going out there to borrow and becoming a butt of jokes, among the Community of Nations globally. It makes us all look demeaning. And when you travel and people see that your green passport, they start looking at you in a certain way. It's hurtful. It's painful. You may not see it, sitting here in your country, because yes, we have NDC and MPP it. But when you travel outside, there you get some kind of reactions, and you ought to be very, very worried about it. So yes, it started on a good footing, but I don't expect that press conference after press conference it comes to tell us what they are planning to do, and we don't see the action, right? I'm happy about the SkyTrain thing, that finally says that, charges have been, the charges have been gathered, or they have been able to spell out what charges they want to slap on whoever is responsible, to the point where he says that some of the board members are even ready to testify. And then he goes on to say that, he will immunize you if you come forward with some good information, even if you are marginally, about it. I don't know to what extent that goes, because if you are part of the trail of people who have hurt us, I think that you should also be made to answer.
Right.
Cutting everybody who comes. So if I walk up and I may be neck deep and I provide information, do I get the immunity that he's talking about?
Is that he'll cut a deal with you?
But the point is that in cutting the deal with me, let's say we buy this phone, right, at 2 cedis, when it's supposed to be 50 pesos, and I'm part of the people who helped to rape the nation of 1 Ghana cedi, 50 pesos, and it is clear as the light of day that I was part of the cartel that did that. Once I come with information that holds all the others but myself,
It is just telling you that on the basis of Edidija, you can come.
So
he said
do business with you.
So the 1 cedi, 50 pesos. If let's say I was entitled to 20 pesos and I ended up getting maybe 1 peso, then I can come
and choke them.
But I would have chopped my 1 peso already.
They'll punish you small, and they will deal with the rest.
Full punishment.
I think when he said marginally, he meant that he said
deal.
if you are marginally involved, but if you are majorly,
it reminds me of some 3 guys who went to steal a goat. And then when they were sharing, there's a small boy, in fact 4 guys. There was a small boy who was part of the whole thing.
So when they finished slaughtering the goat, they were cutting the portions. Then they cut it, then they put a chunk here, they cut it, put a chunk here, cut it, put a chunk here. Then they put a small one here, you know. And the small boy was looking at the thing and I said, that's
what
everybody has to get some.
Yeah, no, but he was getting some, but he said, this one, if I look at this portion, the person who will get this there, he will say it too. He will choke all of us.
He's not saying that is for him, but if you give it to me.
He has not said it. He said whoever gets it, he will go and see. That's the basis of it. Yeah.
Charlie, but I think that bottom line is we're all encouraged to volunteer information. I think that was the spirit of the submission of the AG. And so if you if you have evidence that something untoward is happening somewhere in a certain public institution, feel free, carry all the documents you have, walk into the office of the Attorney General and say, I have evidence that Crosby, who is the Vice President, has gone to buy this plane with money that was meant for this. Then they will receive it and they'll process it. Then they will look at your role. Maybe you were asked to be the facilitator. Look at the role you played in the commission of the crime. Is it marginal? Is it substantial? Then they will cut a deal with you.
You see, that's, if you will, a departure from what we had in the not so distant past, where we were told to bring the evidence that, okay, allegations have been made. You say I'm a clearing agent, but you carry the evidence and bring it. But there's also a problem with that. You know, whether we like it or not, there are people within the judicial setup, police setup, within the larger space, who, for example, Helen comes to tell you, the one close with the responsibility to fight something that is evil for society. And then as soon as Helen leaves, you call me because Helen came to report me to you and say, Charlie, so I get on our 3FM. And it does happen. That's why you find that in most of the instances.
Is that not what happened in the leak tape saga?
Yes. Yes, the IGP leaked tapes about it. That's what happened in there. Because as soon as the people left the room, somebody went to Chuk and said that this man doesn't want you here. So you have to be very careful. But if there is, again, if you flip the coin, if there is ample evidence to say that somebody has done something wrong, as soon as you Chuk, you put that person, especially if that person is a subordinate, then you put that person in a lot of trouble, because then their transfers will begin and all those punitive, yes, they'll be victimized, you know, and people start looking at them. That's why most of the times when you find that these civil servants have problems or they have some information that they know is very conk and credible, they come to us, the press, because if they go to their own bosses will literally
it will come back to them. It
was you who sent it. You get the point. Yeah. So they always find a way to run to the press. I've had so many people run to me with stuff that is heavy. Some I don't publicize, some I don't publish, some you just pass to the relevant authorities. But you are passing it to the relevant authorities on condition that they will also deal with it on that level. Because if I hear it anywhere else, it means that it is you. Yeah. It means that me and you, we have finished. You get the point. That whistleblower protection that we're supposed to have, I think we ought to look at it again and look at the whole structure of the law again. Because people in this country have been victimized.
In this country, what do people actually do on principle? It's always a didija. You chop the thing, I know chop some. So I will chop you. You know, and I'm not sure we do anything in this country on principle.
Talking about whistleblowers,
it's corruption. I'm fighting corruption. Then you go and you are fighting. No, I don't think it really happens in this.
You know, the fighting corruption bit. It is dangerous to be right when the system is wrong.
It's wrong.
Yes.
It's very dangerous.
Yes.
The system will deal with you.
The system will find a way to deal with you. People literally, I mean, somebody who can run to the court and say, hey, you have said this about me, and the process will drag, and because of that, you can speak about the matter, you can talk about it because there's an injunction on you, and it's a whole structure, a whole gamut.
Yeah.
You find that at certain points, some people have complained that, Charlie, my house was there before I knew it. The assembly comes, it says my house has to be rezoned, a portion of it, they are breaking part of my house. People go through stuff in this country. Police have stopped somebody, and they, by some arrangements, they are dealing with the person, and even the person who is being dealt with, but what I did and how you are acting, is that the thing? Then eventually, as the thing travels, you went to say this, blah, blah, blah. So we ought to protect our institutions, yes, but also the people who feed our institutions with information ought to be protected, as it should be. We should not make it one,
William Kessie on Facebook under our stream says they should establish a hotline for citizens to call and offer or give information on corruption. But that was what Oral did.
Yeah.
But they've concluded, so maybe they want a 24/7 24-hour economy hotline.
But
we can also spend all our time and energy going after past officials. Can we really do that?
You see,
I mean, yes, if we say, okay, Helen, you took petrol 5 liters, you didn't use it for company business, so we are coming after you. Then, as the AG said, there are 3 million thieves in Ghana.
Yeah.
Because everybody would, at one point or the other, have done something that is untoward. So, I mean, we have to also have a certain priority and to say that there's a point at which this must end. So that it doesn't also turn out to be the usual political witch hunting.
But
I'm not saying don't fight corruption.
It can't end if we don't have the right deterrence. That's why it seems to be a never-ending battle.
Yeah.
If we had some strong deterrence, you see that this will start to taper off.
What really do you gain as a country when you jail people in the name of corruption?
Because you gain a lot, and you actually gain in currency. Because others will watch that
this comment that you are making.
Others will watch that.
It's a serious conversation.
Others will watch that and put the fear of them put the fear of God in them to not do that.
Indeed, the Attorney General mentioned that, and it's something that the former Attorney General also, Godfred Dame, had started, that if you are accused and found to have stolen 5 million Ghana cedis, bring us our 5 million Ghana cedis plus the interest based on the current rate or something. I've forgotten the computation. So bring us the money and you can
time value of money
and there was a serious debate as to, and I was part of that debate, as to do we want the person to refund the money and go home?
No.
Or the person should go to jail without refunding the money? You want the person to refund the money.
Go to jail.
But you said you will not find all the money.
Exactly.
That one you will find.
So you will not?
No, you will not.
So you definitely will.
Something
all of it?
Something has to make. Something has to give.
And you even made that point. Look, people keep money, invest money, go to jail for 5 years, come back and pick their money. Is that not possible?
Some also squander it. It's not their money, so they get the money and then they chop it anyhow. By the time they've acquired it, the money has been squandered. Used for uselessness.
There's also the other angle of people having credible and concrete information. But generally, they don't want to be part of the whole charade of trying to go after the person. So they don't want to be a witness to say, come to this office today, come
and testify.
That's usually. And I saw an accident happen, a vehicle accident happen, and the people who saw the accident, right? Who were right by the action. I was with a friend. The people who saw the accident happening right where it happened, because we were driving from a distance to that location. They saw it. So when we got there, they actually were letting off the guy with the vehicle to go. When the two guys on the ground have literally been left to their fate. They were on a motorbike.
The police?
No. The guys there.
Okay. They caused the accident.
No, they didn't.
And were running away.
They didn't cause the accident. The guy in the vehicle caused the accidit. Hit the motorbikers. They fell down. I think one had a deep cut or something like that. And there were some guys there, so they finished speaking, blah, blah, blah. And the guy was literally driving off. So we saw the action. And then my friend went, and then we accosted the guy and we brought him back. Then we asked the guy, I said, but why are you here where they knock somebody? Where they make the man they go? Say, boss, we don't get time to go and become witness in some police case. So we will day ASF with the struggle. So no be Monday come to police, Tuesday come to police, then the case will be dragged off 5 years, 3 years for a small accident that happened that everybody saw. But some lawyer will come and say there's no CCTV footage. How is it that, that kind of thing? So they say we don't have time for that. Because we
see the way you have put it again.
No,
it's the lawyer's fault.
No, it's not the lawyer's fault. But because it does happen. The AG said that whoever the lawyer for Mr. Dubois is, he must also earn his fees.
Yes.
It's right to earn his fees. And if you're a good lawyer, the best interest of your client is what you're looking for.
Sure.
Right?
You're ethically bound.
Now the guys saw the accident. They witnessed it. So if the police comes into this conversation, right? We eventually reported to the police. Kaneshie police, they decided to fix the matter. They gave the guy some money, went to fix his leg. The rest they say is history. But I'm just raising that point that the guys saw the accident. They are bound by their responsibility and duty to the state that, look, they must help so that the guys who are now vulnerable get justice. But they were also looking at the economic investment that they have to make. Because if they are going to the police station every day to go and
there's also the time investment.
Yes, go to the court to go and be witnesses, blah blah blah. Go and be. Who will pay them? They were asking me those questions.
Will cry and torment your life.
And then I said, okay, this is yet another angle. So we now had to come in, speak to the gentleman and said, look, you're a good gentleman. Let's go to the police station, fix this matter, get medical form. If there's anything you have to do, and just go away. And they fixed their issues and went away.
No, I get the principle in your submission, actually, that we also run away because of the processes. They are tiresome, cumbersome, waste of your time. Either you are trying to look for justice for somebody, your life is falling apart. And it's not fair. Anyway.
And the police CID at some point will call you and say, oh, Ale, can you quickly come? Let's look at this again. And then for some strange reason, I've had a situation where police will call you, say, oh, you're a witness, blah, 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 come, then you take your statement. Then another 3 days, another policeman from the same department will call you. It's so... It's so frustrating and repetitive.
Inefficient.
I'm not saying they are inefficient, but I'm saying that if you do that to me...
No, but it's inefficient.
The process is inefficient.
Yes, because look, if you make one report out there, one report outside the shores of Ghana and some developed country, it will be there till 19 Kojo. As soon as they key in your details, they will find, oh, you have had a brush with the police before, you have had this, you have done that, you have done this, you're taking this credit, you have not paid. It is synchronized. And we say we are running that system here. Was that not the whole concept of digitalization and Ghana card and all of that?
Last week I saw a police report.
So why do we have to go back
used
and
for
come?
Chichinga?
Oh.
A police report. Yes, on Facebook.
For the chinga?
Yes, police report, Ghana police report. The person's handwriting has written statement, police statement.
Oh.
Not that Chichinga, they were called Chichinga.
We, the Chichinga and Coffee Brokeman people, how do you expect us to rap it for you? We also... But Crosby, I never said anywhere
the rappers for the thing.
But there's no paper.
Oh, we have...
Yes,
I never said anywhere that the AG should not defend himself. There are plenty of things I said. Did I say that anywhere? Did I say that the
comments are saying?
Did I say that the AG had no right to defend himself? When I took A plus on for the unsavory words, that one the person hasn't seen it. He didn't listen to that part. Charlie, guys, it's not all the time we do agenda. See, some things are there. Let's say them as they are. I have not said anywhere in my submission this morning that the AG should not defend himself or he doesn't have the right to defend himself. I haven't said that. Please, I beg you.
Anyways. Also happening, something that happened yesterday. President John Mahama, he appointed 7 judges. He nominated 7 judges for appointment to the Supreme Court bench. That nomination has come with varied reactions. Sixtus. Dennis Miracles Abuaje, for instance, says that these people in a future NDC government, they'll clear all of them.
MPP government.
MPP government, they'll clear all of them.
How are they going
That's
to
Dennis saying that.
Yes, Marcus Appiah.
But he cannot see.
Based on what?
When did he say this?
No, he said it yesterday. He was speaking on, I think, Assassin Radio.
That's a reckless comment to make by an educated,
very
person. If he actually did make that statement,
if we can find that quote or what his exact words.
You see, the point is that, and not so long ago, the GBA was the one talking to us about protecting the judiciary. The leader of his party in parliament was talking also about the protection of the judiciary. So, where is the protection of the judiciary? The principle ought to be one. You get the point. If he did said that, my friend said that, so it's reckless.
His reasoning for
and you know we have a history in this country with judges who were picked up and abducted and all of that. So we have to be very careful.
In trying to make that point, you let me go through the list for you. This is the list that is signed by the secretary to the president.
It's actually
it's there, but I want to read from the letter itself, the release itself.
Justice to the Supreme Court of Ghana, not in relation to the latest one the president has made. That's
actually the latest.
There's 7, yes.
That's actually the latest.
Okay.
So the year of appointment there would go back to the Court of Appeal.
Court of Appeal.
Right, okay.
So just indulge me. This is signed by Callistus Mahama, PhD, Secretary to the President, and Acting Chief Justice is attentioned. Copied also Vice President and Chief of Staff. Dated 29th April, that was the day before. Okay. Nomination of justices to the Supreme Court of Ghana, pursuant to 1442 of the Constitution 92. Excellency, the President has nominated the following justices of the Court of Appeal to be considered for appointment to the Supreme Court. There are 7 in all. Justice Sir Dennis Dominic Ejay. Justice, that's number 2. Justice B.L. Simon Suribare. Justice Senyor Jamefe, that's number 3. And for the record, Justice B.L. Simon Suribare is an old student of St. Francis Xavier Minor Seminary. Now I continue.
We hear you.
So congratulations, Obi. Justice Kweku Tewia Akabuafo, Justice Philip Bright Mensah, Justice Janapari Battels Kojo, Justice Hafisata Amaliboba. Now these are 7.
Yes.
And any lawyer you talk to will tell. Let's start from number 1. Then Dennis Ejay said Dennis Ejay. Who in this country is coming to tell me that said Dennis Ejay is NDC? And that when MPP comes, they should remove him because it was Mahama who appointed him. And Mahama appointed him because he's NDC. So
listen to what he said. Future MPP government will dismiss all 7 newly nominated Supreme Court justices.
Because of what?
Assassin Radio quoted him. Now, what he's saying is that it was because of comments made by President Mahama when he was in opposition. I'm talking about last year, about how the bench has been populated by seemingly MPP judges. That there's the need to balance it, and then the attempt to, if you like, remove the current CJ. So he says they will find something will be found against these people that will let them be removed.
That is reckless. That is unfortunate.
That is pretty.
So this is what we are exposing the judiciary to. Okay, even if the president in opposition made that comment, if you say you balance something, it necessarily means that you have to bring in your own people. You cannot find truly neutral people.
Don't work yourself over this. I think Janice is just trying to take attention of what the AG said and the cases that are going to be prosecuted.
You know why I'm being worked up about it? Because I know a number of the people. I know them individually. And if you're a lawyer in this country, you cannot tell me that you don't know, say, Dominic Ejay. You don't know him. Even law students know the man. And the man has worked hard, has been at the Court of Appeal since 2010. You want to dismiss the reputation of such a person on the platter of partisan politics. Come on. What are we doing to ourselves?
Very interesting.
Justice Sulbare has been working, and this is a man who hasn't worked in Accra. All his life he's been outside of Accra, rising through the ranks.
Delivering justice.
Six, you're going through the list.
I'm going through the list.
Just one quick second. Last year, July 2024, The then Attorney General, Godfrey Dame Yeboah, he says the appointment of more Supreme Court judges will ensure effective justice delivery. So what's the problem?
No, the current CJ, not the current CJ, the embattled CJ.
Or the CJ on suspension.
The embattled CJ.
No, the CJ on suspension. I'm not sure she's fighting anybody. So she's not embattled.
So the suspended CJ.
Yeah.
Okay. The suspended CJ herself has made that observation in open court.
Yes.
There was one of the cases that she was talking about how members of the bench have to go in and out. In a day, a number of cases are listed. You go in, come back. One person is sitting on a number of cases. There may be other arguments to that, to explain that. That's fine. But even she herself admitted that, look, the talk about the court is populated and all of that may not really be the case because judges are burdened. So these are admissions that have been made. So if we have nominated other people to get onto the bench and we have a problem with it, let us look at what disqualifies the people from going onto the Supreme Court based on the stated criteria.
Exactly.
I'm saying that.
Especially
And
when
they are
you
going
yourself
to
say
they are going to go through vetting.
I'm saying that.
So if even the Dennis Miracles Abuaji, if you have evidence against any of these 7 that the person is
present a petition to the Appointments Committee of Parliament
and let them disqualify the
Look,
person.
I'm telling you that Dennis is doing this to throw out a red herring to get everybody to deflect from the issues of the missing excavator to Reverend and his money laundering and cocaine, to get the AG, the Sky Trade, all these things that have been said, because those are weightier matters.
No, I won't put premium by the reputations that you are attacking.
I'm saying that we have seen that done. You and I have gone through it. Yes. Helen has gone through it. Bella has gone through it. What haven't we seen before? You understand? How big are we in this country? People have literally been taken off and yanked off because. So I'm saying that it's part of the deflection. Because if after the elections we can be told in the faces that, oh, there was nothing really about the Airbus scandal, but we're just saying it to muddy the waters. You should know the individuals you're dealing with. And I'm saying that no educated person, even if the person is not a lawyer, right, reading what constitutes the ingredients for the removal of a judge of the Supreme Court, as we have seen Article 146 being bandied around all through, right, should be making such comments. It makes nonsense of your education.
I didn't even talk about Justice Akabuafo.
It makes it
You want to tell me that Justice Akabuafo is NDC, he's partisan. So when you come to power, you remove him because I want to believe that Miracles don't know these people. He is not a lawyer.
I'm saying that this is a deflection tactic.
But yes, don't use people's hard-earned reputation
as part of your political
deflectionary.
He's saying that about people's reputations have been used to deflect. They say me, I smoke weed. Me, I've gone to give birth somewhere. I'm not taking the children. Me, I've taken $40,000. Me, I've so many things. Right? What has not been said? Did it work? It didn't work because I didn't make it get to me. If you also know the communication game and you also studied it in school and you passed your exams and you start through your classes, you will know that this one that is coming, this one is a red herring. Fry it. And
what will the GBA have to say about something like this?
Helen and gentlemen, take a listen to what Dennis Miracles Abuaji, his exact words when he spoke on
so far we are giving him 10 minutes of our time, of our life. So I don't actually think he deserves it.
So this is what he said.
Also the judges Libya Supreme Court
7
Minyan Koyen 25
7.3
na call the compamo na say nipa no waka say judges no Supreme Court omo bias
3FM
we can NDC4 image omo share judge no any party will belong intimate way me madwi mu no based on the NDC4 no me ntia ne say judges 7 omo de omo be na NDC4
that means David MPP so ba
NDC
pam sa judges 7
and the say ten kwamu nko ade a
mo be pam
chief justice bi omo de be ba no yes ye di bi ba some no ma sha so some pen sa de mo start to cry
In MPP by Judge 7 year, you nominate your number Sampamomo.
Oh, never per coin. I say per coin be so near the Pamomo. Send a month on per coin be so Pamuchi.
3FM
92.7. Men started. Wouldn't be here. And they Sawoka said judiciary a bias, a perception.
Okay.
And they, as we speak, a perception. But from what he has done this evening by going ahead to bring some judges, 7 judges, and forcefully removing this Chief Justice, what my say, it is no longer a perception. You have come in with a premeditated mind and actually accused these judges of being biased and promised to balance the bench. And our party for a list of judges with on political colors. And I won't be able to count Matthias here. Green. And I pay you understand more blue and
but and yet Saboni.
So you wanted to hear that is
let's move on. There's no substance in this.
Congratulations to my lords and but you know Akabuafo was actually promoted by Akufo-Addo.
Yes.
From the High Court to the Court of Appeal.
Yes.
It was Akufo-Addo who promoted him.
Yes.
So he too, what will you say about him?
He's blue and green.
So beyond
when you join, in fact, when you join blue and green, the primary colors, what do you get? Orange,
visible.
So beyond the conversation of where they are coming from, there's also the concern about the court being too large. Is it a valid concern to have? Because I'm reading something from Kwekwaza. So he says they are deeply concerned by the recent naming of 7 additional Supreme Court justices. This concern is not about the qualifications of the nominees. They have defended them. However, some of the concerns they have is the SC currently has 12 justices. If all 7 nominees are confirmed, the bench will expand to 19, making it one of the largest Supreme Courts in the world. For comparison,
going on retirement.
I'm coming. So he mentions the U.S. Supreme Court has 9 justices. South Africa's Constitutional Court has 11. Kenya's Supreme Court has 7. A bench of 19 raises serious concerns about judicial effectiveness, larger panel struggle with coordination and timely deliberation, consensus building, coherent judgments, panel manipulation, and individual judicial accountability. The likely result, according to him, is that fragmented opinions, delays in decision making, and a further dilution of institutional clarity at a time when public trust in the judiciary is already fragile. Then he mentions budgetary constraints as well. And then, so the judiciary is chronically underfunded amongst others. And he's adding 2 wrongs don't make a right. You know, the perception or the thinking that, or the fact that the previous administration, the MPP administration, has appointed a lot of judges there. So if you want to balance it and you're appointing even more, he says this latest round of appointments may be an attempt to rebalance the court, but 2 wrongs do not make a right. Stacking the court to restore balance on courts, even if procedurally valid, undermines constitutional integrity. It continues a dangerous practice, the use of judicial appointment as a form of political correction, turning the apex court into a battleground for factional interests rather than beacon of legal stability. I'm sure these are valid concerns he has.
Well, he has some valid concerns in there. I mean, how much we're paying there, because if you're a Supreme Court judge, you actually retire with your full benefits and all of that. But as Sixtus mentioned, in fact, most of them are almost due for retirement. Right? They are almost due for, if the current acting Chief Justice has, I think, less than 1 year, maybe just around 1 year. Some have 2 years and all of that. Again, you may want to preserve institutional memory, and you would want to get people to be handing over to, not necessarily, for want of a better expression, my lords will have to forgive me, newbies, right? Because the Supreme Court is a different kettle of fish. Okay, I'm not a lawyer, but that's what I'm thinking. You know, may have inspired it beyond this conversation about balancing it and the politicization of it and all of that, right? I think that this should be a turning point for all of us. That as a country, whether you are blue or green or black or white or yellow or violet or pink or mauve or whatever it is, when you appear before the court is supposed to be independent, and you have appeared before it. The argument where because President A appointed Helen to the Supreme Court or the Appeal Court, then it means that she shares the same political color, wears the same political color with the president of the day is wrong. The Constitution says it is the president's job to find nominations to the Supreme Court.
That's true.
If we are not happy about it and we want to have an independent structure that will now be nominating people to be vetted and appointed to the Supreme Court, we can say that.
That's right.
But until we change that law, we have to practice the law, because even the CJ who is now on suspension says the law is the law. Everybody gets the law. So what does the law say?
It is correct. It's not wrong to do it, but the concerns people have about it, the timing, for instance, you know that the suspended CJ and all the conversations around it, the comments made by President Mahama before he came into office and all of that, it adds up to a certain thinking, certain perception that there may be an effort to, quote unquote, rebalance the Supreme Court. It's not wrong to do it because the Constitution allows for it. But Sixtus, is it right? Well, no. That's not what I'm asking. Is it?
Why are you doing this to me?
You just finished your question.
Is it appropriate? Let me.
It's the same thing.
No.
Semantics.
Crosby. Okay. You know the point about the retirement. I will try to get the ages, and we will properly situate that. But I know that some of them are going within the next 2 years, so there will be a reduction. Currently, we have 14, 15, 14. Yeah, we have 14.
Yeah.
So some of them are definitely living within the next 2 years. But the examples that he cited, he mentioned South Africa.
Yeah.
He mentioned.
Currently, I think we have 12.
12? No. There are more than 12.
More than 12. 14, 15. One John Mahama, one President Kufuor. The rest, I think the 12 are President Kufuor.
Yes. So, the Supreme Court of Ghana has about 5 or so jurisdictions. Let me see if I remember the law they taught me.
You have to remember.
And
your supervisor is listening to you.
No, he's sleeping. It's Mayday. And the South Africa court you mentioned, you see they call it constitutional court.
Right.
Because their jurisdiction is on interpretation. Our Supreme Court has other jurisdictions.
Appellate included.
It has an appellate jurisdiction. It has a supervisory jurisdiction. It has a constitutional jurisdiction. It has a good number of jurisdictions. And in all of these things, or under all of these jurisdictions, cases are coming on a daily basis. People are asking for interpretation. People are asking for supervisory, asking the Supreme Court to undo a decision that has been taken by other courts. There are cases that travel from the High Court up to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
That's the appellate jurisdiction. Even our election petition cases from the Court of Appeal where it terminates, there are some wings or legs of those cases that jump to the Supreme Court. So, yes, our numbers seem bloated, but we also have not left our Supreme Court to deal with only one matter. In other jurisdictions, the Supreme Court is only burdened with the interpretation and enforcement of the Constitution. That if you want a provision of the Constitution interpreted, then it's the Supreme Court you run to. If you want a body or an institution to enforce the Constitution, is the Supreme Court you run to. At the same time, if you are not satisfied with the judgment of a matter that you have taken to the High Court through to the Court of Appeal, it is the same Supreme Court you go to. So imagine that we had 10 justices of the Supreme Court. The same justices will be dealing with matters under all these jurisdictions. So when we are doing the comparison, yes, we have to also be able to look at the load of work that we have given our Supreme Court.
It even comes to the point where you have Supreme Court judges being brought down to the appeal court to sit with additional responsibility. You get the point.
Yes.
So there are instances where we have had a Supreme Court judge even though he's at the top, he is a Supreme Court judge. Yes. But on a certain matter, he has been empaneled to sit with additional responsibility because...
As a High Court judge.
Exactly, because they're looking for a certain level of experience, expertise to be brought to bear on the matter. The High Court judges may, have been empaneled in other cases, and this Supreme Court judge may be free at the time, so they can bring the Supreme Court judge to, Court of Appeal or the High Court. There are so many instances. If we just look at the numbers as people being at the top and stuck at the top, we may be getting it wrong.
So our Supreme Court judges are not... They are not wasted. Well, they are not. And some are even sitting as single judges.
Yeah.
Even at the Supreme Court.
In fact, they use some of them council commissioners and the rest.
I was going to say, I'm thankful for this perspective because I've tuned into a number of these discussions where the numbers are bandied about. We talk about the USA and South Africa, but getting that extra knowledge about what it is exactly our Supreme Court judges are tasked with lets me know that maybe we are not juxtaposing it correctly. They are different things.
There are different things we are
completely.
Looking at.
So none of them is not working.
No.
They are all
at every point.
Unless you are made not to work.
Unless you are
as
not
the discussion is going on.
Although the critique when it comes to this number, or if we have 19 or more to be too many, has been that there are some inefficiencies, and some will argue
certainly
that
there will be.
But Helen, again,
just like have we put
a cap?
No, we don't have.
So we need to. No, we know what the problems are. Number one, we don't have a cap. Number two, it is the president's job per the constitution to find us chief justice and justice at the top, to find us all those ones. So if we don't want it, let's have an independent arrangement. Pick the constitution and change it, right? And then we say
until it is changed.
The issue of capping.
Look, let's have a cap.
The issue of capping, that one, I agree. We can't also leave it open-ended. Because it has been amply demonstrated to us that if we leave it open, somebody will come as president and will bring 100 Supreme Court judges.
But the point is that
that has implications on our pairs.
But
that is a part of Kweku Aza's statement.
I agree with him, but institutionalize it so that we all know that it is not correct to do this. Even if you as a president, now as it stands now,
but you see,
unless President Mahama changes his mind, he cannot wake up tomorrow and tell us that he's nominating 5 more ministers to make it 65. Because he has seen a different... He has to come and explain to us and answer why. Because we don't have a cap for the number of ministers. That's why you saw in the previous administration more than 120 ministers.
Exactly.
And guess what? They're all going to be giving ex gratia, whether they performed or whether they did not perform. So that's why I'm happy about the work that Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh and his team are doing. I hope that some of these conversations will be dovetailed and giving, central themes within what they are trying to work at. Because even he, as a lawyer and somebody who has, I think, taught the law before, right? He knows what our situation is, how hot the water is boiling around here. Because every Supreme Court judge that you have must have a police guard. Every Supreme Court judge that you have must have a correct official
budgetary allocations that
he must have a resident.
A secretariat.
The secretariat.
A research team.
And the research team. Then the protection at his home. Send people performing sentry duty. He must have a cook.
And then
he must have a
administrative staff. Class. The benches.
So everybody comes to the table with that gamut. Is that what we can afford as a country?
But
if we cannot afford
that,
if we cannot afford it, as for the needy, we have spoken about many different things. So that comparison with South Africa,
there are also cases that come that in empaneling, the person with the authority to empanel would be considering a particular specialty of the judge, so that if a case is on say intellectual property. I think usually they come in these finance and accounting cases, commercial cases, where you don't just put any judge on the case, because the particular contract or commercial dispute that you are seeking to resolve require a certain expertise, knowledge of the judge. So that beyond the evidence that is tendered, beyond the testimonies that are given by witnesses, the judge also has certain knowledge in the field. So all these things are considered. So if we have cases that come, and usually the usual political cases, political theory and communication and human rights, those are general things that, every other judge can sit on. But there are also the ones that would come that you need. So Helen is a property right, intellectual property right expert. And this case that has come involves somebody stealing the song of another person. The judge with background in intellectual property presiding on that matter is more likely to do a better job.
I'll give you a classic example. So lawyer Nibia Ibonte, Lord Bonte as we call him. There was a case in the court where somebody, I think from the Ghana Standards Authority or the FDA, needed to come in to come and demonstrate how a certain test was done to find that whatever it was narcotic and all of that. So reagents, and that was pure chemistry class. But he also has a background in engineering, a pure science student who went to KNUST to pursue engineering and all of that. So when the conversation started, I'm sure that the witness on the other side, on the side of the state, did not know that this man, he get this experience. And I think that on that occasion, the judge who sat, has, because he likes to teach, pro bono, that judge had been. So when the man was going on and on and on, the judge says, look, the man, this thing you are saying, he taught me these things many, many years ago. So when it was time for cross-examination, he kept asking the man about certain chemicals, the amounts, the volumes that should be added, the tighter value, this, that. And the man clearly stated that, look, there was this margin of error, there was this, there was that. Then he said, but if all these points were not taken, how do you come to this conclusion? Because all these must tally before you come to this conclusion. And he won the case. So you are very right in your submission that you need a certain background, right? And a certain background to be able to stand in there. I don't think that we should be making a big fuss about it. We have an opportunity now with the Constitutional Review Committee to say we don't like this. We don't like that. This one is costing us too much. We don't like this. We don't like that. Right. Let's not pay as gratia again to DCs who don't perform. Let's not do this. If we set the method right, we will get it right.
Anyway.
Because if you look at Article 71 holders in the Constitution, you will be shocked how some people get as gratia at the end of their tenure. And you look at what work they did maybe 4 years or 8 years and say, why are we paying this man so much when he did so little?
The Constitution says we should pay them.
Fantastic. Why is nobody complaining about those ones?
Doing this, the day Helen will be appointed to the Court of Appeal, then they will say, no, being appointed by this person, meaning that she belongs to this tradition, and so this tradition will come and remove Helen. More at competence. Let us look more. As for the discussion on capping, it's a whole full-blown discussion we must have. We cannot avoid it.
I agree. I agree with you.
And so what's a make I'm a duffel pa and a red your pemmy, I won't do anything. My friend, the bush, maybe I can in an Minambo, someone of her brain. Now I die.